Hello everyone, this is Andy from the Pixel Pub, and I'm here to talk about my top 10 games of 1995. Okay, for those of y'all who don't know what I've been doing here, I've been making my top 10 games of each year. I started in 1988, and now we're up to 1995, and I have some ground rules that I tend to follow somewhat. Okay, first of all, they have to be console games or handheld games, and the date that I'm picking is the American release date because that's when I would have had the chance to play them. Obviously, there's going to be some exceptions. There have been some exceptions in the past if you watch some of the older videos, and there's going to be some exceptions in this video here. That's typically what I go for. So there's not going to be a lot of PC games. I didn't play a lot of PC games. Not going to be a lot of arcade games because I did play arcade games, but I wasn't ever really super attached to any of them. I played like the Turtles games and X-Men and stuff like that. Like I said, console and handheld is what I'm looking for these lists. So, that being said, let's get started. Okay, first off, we got some sad news, which is from my top 10 games of 1994, the last video I did. It was a game that I forgot. How I typically do these videos, make the list, is that I will think of initially the games that I liked around that time, and I will look up when they came out. And that starts the foundation of the list. That usually starts like the 1 through 5s or whatever. And then I start looking up games that came out in that year. This is one of my favorite games of 1994. And for whatever reason, when I did that list, I just didn't look it up. And it honestly blows my mind that I completely forgot it. And it doubly blows my mind because I love to talk about this game. People don't talk about it enough. It's my fault. I didn't put it on the list. I didn't look it up. And so I'm just going to talk about it now a little bit. Is Dynamite Headdy, which came out here in America in 1994. A treasure game, a weird game, full of fun ideas, full of fun music, just a crazy character of Dynamite Headdy where he can get all these different heads and do all these different things with them. But this is not the video from 1994, so I can't give it any more shine than that. So I'm sorry, Dynamite Headdy, I let you down. I will find a way to talk about Dynamite Headdy in some other video sometime soon. Okay, getting into the actual list here, we got number 10, and it is The Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Sega Genesis. This is a game I did rent a handful of times back in the day, and I had a lot of fun with it. It is one of those Sega Genesis games that kind of blows your mind with how graphically well it does things. There's, in that first opening level, there's kind of the illusion of like a 3D movement in the background, like there's a upper and lower deck, and the upper deck kind of looks like it's moving in three-dimensional space, and it's like, whoa, man. And at the time, it's like, this is crazy. There'll be other games on this list that are actually 3D, but I didn't really play them at the time. So when this came out, I was like, man, this is great. And I had a lot of fun with it. It's a very simple game. Like, you pick Batman and Robin, you run around just throwing boomerangs at everybody, and you fight a boss and you move on. For the time, it was very graphically impressive. I think I still prefer the Super Nintendo version of this game. It's a very different game, but it's mad expensive on the Super Nintendo, so I think I'm gonna stick to my Sega Genesis version here at number 10 of 1995. Okay, speaking of 3D games, it's a game that I don't actually own, and I didn't own back in the day. I only played it when it was on the PlayStation Classic. It is Jumping Flash. Jumping Flash is a game that I saw trailers for and stuff like that. I saw commercials for. I think the demo disc that came with my PlayStation that I got in 1997 had a video trailer for Jumping Flash 2. I don't think it was 1. It might have been 1. No, I think it might have been 1. I played enough 1 now to see a lot of the imagery and the characters and stuff like that. But when I first got my PlayStation Classic, it was one of the first games I played. And man, it held up for me. I was right back in there. If I could have played this in 1995, I would have fallen in love with this game immediately. It might even be number 1. The first person platforming was a weird thing at the time, and you got the big fun levels of just the castles in the sky and stuff like that. That look of early PlayStation games with the, very pixelated 3D models and stuff like that, it's extremely nostalgic to me, and I thought it was a super fun game at the time. I still haven't played Jumping Flash 2, and I want to have both of them physically on the PlayStation. And I actually, when I was starting to make this video, I was like, well, maybe it's time to pull the trigger to pick up a physical version of Jumping Flash on the PlayStation. And it's still like $50 or $60 on the PlayStation. So maybe that's something for a special occasion if I pick that up. But for right now, I got my PlayStation Classic here. It's all dirty for some reason. Where is this coming from? It's like I touched a pin. What is going on? Anyway, I got my PlayStation Classic, and I will play my Jumping Flash on that just fine for now. Okay, number 8 is another 3D game. We're getting into the next generation here in 1995. This is a game that I did not play at the time. I did not have a Sega Saturn. I probably should have got a Sega Saturn. I was a big Sega fan. I love my Sega Genesis, but I didn't have a Sega Saturn. I had an N64 and eventually a PlayStation. So this is a game that I completely missed out on until I did get a Sega Saturn, and we have it now, and it still holds up to this day. Is Virtual Fighter 2. My first experience with Virtual Fighter, outside of playing it like maybe like demo kiosks and stuff like that. I might even play this on the demo kiosk too at the time. I don't remember, but my first Virtual Fighter that I owned was Virtual Fighter 4 on the PS2, and I had a lot of fun with it. It's a very demanding 3D fighting game, but I had the time back then to try to learn what to do and at least play through the CPU modes. There was a big focus on getting through ranks and stuff like that. But this is not about Virtual Fighter 4. This is about Virtual Fighter 2. This game, I can imagine playing this game in 1995 on a Sega Saturn and just blowing someone's mind, because the first Virtual Fighter was it was also mind-blowing with this 3D polygonal fighting and the camera angles and stuff like that, and everything move around. All brand new back then. This one had the textured characters, so they looked like 1,000 times better, and they looked 1,000 times more real. It's just, what a fucking cool thing, and it still holds up to this day. Virtual Fighter 2 is great, and I just love this box. The Sega Saturn box, I love them to death, but they break so easily. I have to be very careful with this. Am I gonna be able to get it open? Yes, I can. Yeah, a little advertisement for Virtual Cop in there, which is another game that I haven't played. I need to pick up Virtual Cop. We don't have many Sega Saturn games, but this is one I'm very proud to own. Was it number 8? 1995. Okay, number 7 is a game that I did play back in the day. I played it on the Sega Genesis, though. I don't have the Sega Genesis version, but the Super Nintendo version is just as good. It is Mortal Kombat 3. Mortal Kombat 3 was a game I rented a lot back in the day. I never owned the Mortal Kombat games, and my friends did, and I would rent them a lot. So I don't know. I don't know what that says about my Mortal Kombat fandom, that I didn't own a lot of fighting games. I typically preferred like platformers and stuff like that to own. But Mortal Kombat 3 for me was a very interesting game at the time, because you had Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2, and there was kind of like 2 was just like a way bigger and better version of Mortal Kombat with a whole bunch of new characters that just fleshed out everything of the roster, made it a whole lot more fun. This one it turned everything on its head. It's like, hey, Scorpion and that mass Sub-Zero you like, well, they're gone. How about these robots? How about Shiva, who is basically a Goro that you could play as? How about this Sindel, the Queen, whatever, and Nighthawk? It's just like, man, they turned everything around. Like, they just turned it on its head. Like, let's screw all this. Let's make all these new characters. Let's make Sub-Zero without a mask and a big scar on his face, and he has all these moves. It was just such a weird thing, and I was just always so entranced, like looking at pictures of it in magazines and stuff. When I eventually got to play it, I'm like, man, this game is so bizarre. Like, why did they make the decisions that they did? And I don't think it's a lot of people's favorite Mortal Kombat. It's not mine, but for 1995, I had a hell of a lot of fun playing this game. At the time, like I said, I rented it a bunch on the Sega Genesis. Just a fun time. Mortal Kombat is always going to be a fun time when you get some friends around, do some fatalities, do some get over heres, and not in this game, but Mortal Kombat 3, number 7. Okay, number 6 is also a game I do not own. It's a game that did not come out over here. I don't think it's still come out over here officially. It's Terra Nigma. Now, it is a game developed and I think published by Enix before they did the merger with Square, several years before that. It is part of the no, it wasn't developed by Enix. It was developed by Quintet, I believe, because it's part of the Quintet Quintology, which is like Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, Terra Nigma. There's more. I can't remember the rest of them. But this game did not come out over here. It came out in Japan and it came out in PAL regions. I'm going off the Japan release date because, like I said, it didn't come out over here, so I had to pick a date, and 95 is when it came out in Japan. And I played a ROM of it a long time ago on a modded Xbox. I remember taking that modded Xbox to Kathy's apartment at the time before we got married and hooking it up to her TV, and I played the snot out of it there, and it is a very fun action RPG, top down. You play as this character who's going through these different time periods, I guess is what it is. It kind of seems like you're going through the development of Earth and human society, and you're going to different places, but it's still got that fantasy, that JRPG fantasy spin to it and look to it. And playing as that the main character, I don't know if he has a name. He's just a brown-haired dude with like a little sash over his head, but he's got this like the spear or whatever, and he could do like all these different attacks with them. I just remember having a lot of fun like running and doing a jumping attack, and he would like basically dive down and slide into everyone with the spear. I didn't beat it back then. I got really close. I had played a lot of it, and I do wish that someone would dig it up. I imagine Square Enix might have the rights to this game. Put it out somewhere. Put it out on Switch Online. Put it out. Hey, make a little Switch cart. Put all of them there. Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, Terranigma, one cartridge on Switch. I will buy it day one because I love Soul Blazer. But yeah, Terranigma. It's a good what if it came out over here. Maybe a lot more people were talking about it, but I like it. That's why it's number 6. Okay, number 5 is a game that is on the Super Nintendo. My brother had it. He was a big fan of the first one, so he got the second one, and I basically played a lot of it on his Super Nintendo. It is Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest, which is a fun little, which is a fun little title if you get what they're saying. But anyway, it is probably the best Donkey Kong Country game if I had to guess. It's my favorite. I really like the addition of Dixie Kong and her little floaty thing she can do. If I had to pick between playing as Diddy or Dixie, I'm picking Dixie every single time. It's got just amazing music. The hot head bop when you're in the lava levels is one of my favorite songs still to this day. So freaking good. And it has all the different secrets like the Lost World that you can find. It's got the level that's basically in a little theme park, and it's got that fun music when you're on roller coasters and you see fireworks in the background. It seems like Rare was putting all of their tricks and ideas into this one little game, and man, it's great. It's still my favorite Donkey Kong Country game by a long shot, really. And I'm so happy to have it in the collection now, because it's still one of those games that I could fire up today and just be lost. Just let's play a couple of worlds, let's play a couple of levels. Donkey Kong Country 2, number 5. Okay, number 4 is a game that I did not play in 1995. I actually played in 1997 when I got my PlayStation. It's one of the games I really wanted to play. I saw it in magazines and I saw it, commercials for it and stuff, and I have to play that game. It's Twisted Metal. Like you say, I have the greatest hits version. This is the version I got in 1997 with my PlayStation. I actually got a lot of games that Christmas because they were all stupid cheap, and it's broke because these cases. I was just railing about Sega Saturn cases, and that one opened up just fine. Didn't say anything about PlayStation cases, and this one's broke. Anyway, this is like the premier car combat game. I remember really liking the car combat stuff in Super Mario Kart. That's what it's called. And Super Mario Kart, or Mario Kart 64. So a whole game about it, and it's got this dark edge, man, and it's got this sick clown whose head's on fire, and he drives an ice cream truck. I'm like, man, that was right up my alley in 1997. Like, sign me up. It's got a fun guitar-driven soundtrack, is all I could say. And just all the fun characters with their different abilities and special abilities and stuff like that, and different levels you go through. It just blew my little mind at the time. And It's not my favorite Twisted Metal game. Twisted Metal 2 is still number one, but this is the first one I played, and like it cemented my love for the PlayStation and for the Twisted Metal franchise at the time, because I would play them up until Twisted Metal Black on the PS2. Just great fun. Just a different experience at the time, honestly, because there weren't a lot of games that just focused on car combat, and that was it. So yeah, Twisted Metal number 4 for a reason. Okay, number 3 is a hard one. I went back and forth between 3 and 2 a bunch of different times, but ultimately I picked number 2 for reasons that I'll get into. But number 3 is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Now, I remember this game being advertised like nobody's business all throughout magazines, Nintendo Power, all over the place, of course, because it's a Nintendo game. And in multiple kiosks I would see in different stores at Walmart, and a store down the street that used to be there called Brindle's for us. I don't know if that name rings a bell for anybody else, but they had it there. You could play Yoshi's Island, and there was the stories going around that this was a big Miyamoto response to Donkey Kong Country, because everyone was like, look what Rare's doing with the CGI, the Silicon graphics things, and then they're pre-rendered it, and they look at the graphics they're doing, and Miyamoto's like, that's like shit. Let me do something that makes this going complete opposite with these hand-drawn, very colorful as hell graphics, and make something, very unique. But the intro of this game kind of like debunked that thing, because that's full of pre-rendered stuff, ain't it? Anyway, this game looks amazing. I love this game. First time I beat it was on YouTube. I did a full playthrough on our old YouTube channel and had a hell of a time. I love this game. Didn't really like it back in the day because of the whole Mario thing, where he's a baby Mario, and if he falls off Yoshi, he cries, and that can be a whole deal, and that's annoying. But if you play good, that doesn't happen. So, I mean, get good, I guess. But I'm really bad. It's just a fun, imaginative time. Like, they threw a lot of cool ideas into this game, like all the different transformations that Yoshi can do into like a little helicopter or a little mole, and traveling around through the dirt. And you got the egg throwing mechanic, which could be better, but at the time didn't bother me. Doesn't bother me now. It just you wait for the thing to go, you shoot it. It doesn't take much effort, but it could have been something like a Contra where you point and shoot. Anyway, that's Yoshi's Island. That's number 3. A damn good game. Damn good game from 1995. If you haven't played Yoshi's Island, you need to play Yoshi's Island right now. Okay, number 2 is number 2 because I played the snot out of it when it first came out. I actually rented it in 1996, around the time that N64 was available, and I remember renting it and calling my friend down the street and saying, hey, I rented this cool ass game. You should come check it out. And he's like, well, I got an N64. I'm playing Super Mario 64, so it's not gonna happen. And I was devastated, but I still love the game. It is Ristar on the Sega Genesis. What a cool thing this game is. When you got your little star buddy here, Ristar, and he can stretch his hands out and grab enemies, and he headbutts them. He's like, and then they go flying off the screen. You got the incredible art, the incredible music. Not enough people talk about Ristar. He only had this one game. There's a Game Gear version as well. And he only shows up in like little things, like in the Sonic Sega All-Stars Racing games. He's like the flag holder, and he flies around. It's like, come on, man. Give Ristar his due. Where's the sequel? Where's Ristar 2? Electric Boogaloo. Let's freaking go. And it's like, it is one of those games that is like character mascot platforming at its finest. There's nothing wrong with this game. It is pretty flawless in my opinion for that era of platformers. Great music, great art, great controls, smooth as butter, all that fun stuff Sega at this time could do no wrong. Ristar number 2. Okay, number 1 is, of course, it's number 1. It's probably everyone's number 1 from 1995 if they lived through that year. It is Chrono Trigger, because of course it is. And I don't mean to sit down here and of course it is. No, Chrono Trigger is amazing. If you haven't played, if you're a JRPG fan and you haven't played Chrono Trigger, you need to play Chrono Trigger. Even if you're a youngin' and you know, you were born 20 years past 1995, you need to play Chrono Trigger because it still holds up to this day. This game, talk about flawless with Ristar, it's kind of flawless in every category. Like, the battle system still holds up, the art still holds up, the music still holds up, the story still holds up, the character still holds up. It is so good. Like, I think Square's still chasing the dragon that is Chrono Trigger, because they nailed it. They got the dream team together and they made a masterpiece. And then they made Chrono Cross and they're like, we tried. But yeah, Chrono Trigger, so good. One of my favorite games on the system. I didn't have it back in the day, like I didn't have a Super Nintendo, and I wasn't big into JRPGs until after Final Fantasy VII, and I played it a lot on emulators. I played it a lot on ZSNES, and I remember getting updates for ZSNES and playing Chrono Trigger on them, and seeing stuff like when you go to like Minoria Cathedral, the sunbeams that would come through the windows. In the previous version, they couldn't do the transparency, so you'd walk into the sunbeams and you'd be behind a big pillar of yellow coming from this window. But they updated it. Now we get to the transparencies. You can run around. It looks how it's supposed to look. That's how I experienced Chrono Trigger back in the day. And I had bought the DS version when the day it came out, because I wanted to play it on the DS. I wanted to do these anime cutscenes, and had a little map at the bottom screen. It was great. Then Kathy lost my copy of it. I still have the case, but she lost my little Chrono Trigger. But we found this at a trade-it several years ago. Had to pick it up, had to add it to the collection, because Chrono Trigger is amazing. Number one with a bullet. There was no doubt in my mind. As soon as I sat down to make this list, I was like, I don't have to look it up. It's Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger came out in 1995. It's the best game of 1995, and in some cases, it's not even close. It's Chrono Trigger. Okay, I need to wrap this up quick because my camera's about to die. I've been Andy from the Pixel Pub. If you have any of your favorite 1995 games, please put them in the comments. Let me know what I missed, because I'm sure I did. You saw the beginning of the video. And please like and subscribe. Leave the comments, all of that fun stuff. I've been Andy from the Pixel Pub.